My name's Alan Hart, and today I'm going to show you how to install a radiator or how to replace a radiator. So this radiator here, I'm going to swap this radiator. I want to put a bigger radiator in here. So the tails at the bottom, I'm going to have to change them and alter them. So I'm going to drain the system down. So I'm going to show you how different options really of how you can drain the system. I've also got a radiator upstairs that I'm going to move. So we'll be lifting some floorboards up and things like that as well. So I'm going to try and put as much as possible in this video as I can. So first job what we'll do is I will drain the system down. So let's go and have a look. We'll have a look at the boiler now, and I'll show you how we can drain it down there. But then I'll show you some other options as well. So yeah, so let's go and have a look now. So this system, this is a combi boiler system. So it's got a pressure gauge on the front. So all we need to do is just drain the pressure out of the system. And we've got an Omega filter on this. So I could quite easily just drain it from that filter. But I'm going to drain it a different way just to show you a few different options of draining a system. So that draining from the filter would obviously be the easiest option if you have a filter. So first of all, I'm going to turn the power off to the boiler, and then we'll go in the other back where the radiator is, and I'm going to lift the carpets up, lift the floors up, and we'll cut into pipework below the radiator. So let's go in there now, we'll have a look now. So just a little tip, when you're lifting carpets, sometimes they're a bit awkward to lift up. I mean, this would be quite easy to be honest, but I just get my grips and just pull on there. So just a little tip, like I say with this one, probably didn't need a lot. And then we'll just lift carpet up now. So when I've lifted the carpet up here, we've already got a trap. So it's a lot easier. Normally you're not going to see that, you're going to have to cut the boards. I probably will have to cut the boards over here, but we'll have a look. I'm just going to mark the boards. Very important, if you start lifting loads of boards up, it can be very, very hard sometimes, like a jigsaw puzzle, putting them all back. So I always just mark them if I can. And then that way I know which ones, how to put them back down after. So we've got the pipe work there, so we can see the pipes. So that's the T that's going to this radiator. You can just see his elbows there. And then that one's just on the T. So what we'll do, I'm going to cut this, I'm going to cut that pipe, and then I'm just going to drain it under this floor. But other options for draining down would be, you might find that you've got a drain off, like that somewhere. And then obviously if you do, you can just connect your hose onto there. And then the other option with your filters, you might use a washing machine hose. So I use this quite a lot for cleaning filters out. And then there's that hose as well if you're going to fully drain the system. So as always, if I'm going to cut into pipe, I always make sure I've got a few speed fit cap ends with me, just so I can just push them over if it gets a bit too much. One thing to be very careful, if you're going to cut into pipes under a floor and you're going to drain it under a floor, make sure there's no electrical cables or anything like that around, and make sure that if there is any water, it's not going to do any damage to anything. So what I'll do now, I'll just start to cut into this. Now bearing in mind, there's a lot of pressure in this at the moment, so there'll be a lot of water and it's going to splash all over. But if we just do it a little bit and then just let pressure come out, and then you see there, and just let it down. So there's not that much water. I could have, so quite easily with one hand I've just pushed that on there, on the other side, so I've controlled it there if I need to. But now I can connect a hose pipe on there quite easily. So I've got my hose pipe now. I've just got a push fit valve on there. You could use just a socket or an elbow, just out that's push fit. Now you could, if you wanted, just put hose pipe directly over top of pipe, but I just find it easier this way. And then whichever pipe you want to use to drain down, just connect that on, and then now that's just draining out, all controlled. There's not that much water under the floor really, so it's not the best way to do it. Obviously if you've got a drain off valve, then use a drain off or a filter, but this is sort of like worst case scenario, and as you can see from that, there's still not that much water. So I'm just going to bleed the radiators now upstairs, and because this is on an S plan, I'm going to go down and just open the zone valve as well. So I'm just going to manually open zone valves. And that'll allow it now just to drain. So you can just see radiators draining down now. So you can just leave that now a few minutes. So now I'm going to take the radiator off the wall. So if you've opened bleed point, now just close bleed point up, and you could, if you wanted to, you could close these valves on here on both sides and then undo bottom nut, and if you did that, then you're going to have less water again in radiator, bits of sludge and stuff that's in radiator. I'm not too bothered here because obviously it's just floorboards, it's not going to cause any damage. So I'm just going to take these nuts off on it. So I've already cut that pipe under the floor, so it just comes out nice and easy. So what you want to do when you do take a radiator off is you need to tip it over the other way around as soon as you can. There's always going to be black sludge in the bottom of the radiator. No matter how much really you flush your system, you're always going to get some black sludge in the bottom of a radiator. So you don't want to get that black sludge on carpets because it'll just cause a lot of damage. So get your radiator and then just turn it upside down and then just carry it out of the house like that, and then it's not going to drip on carpet or anything like that. So I'm just going to remove these brackets now. Nice plug socket there. We're going to get this rewired, so I'm not bothered about that. Radiator that we're going to fit is going to be slightly bigger as well. So just a little tip, I use the bag as a rubbish bag. So if you just get your Stanley knife, and if you just cut top nice and neat, you can use that as a bag. Just do it on the side that the brackets are going to go on, just so you don't scrape radiator. So when you've took the radiator out of the packet, you'll find some brackets in there, and you'll find a little bag that's got the bleed point in and the end cap, and then just some little plastic caps as well. There's also some instructions in here on how to install the radiator, what height to do the brackets. Personally, I don't think there's no right and wrong way how to hang a radiator. Just try and make it level and put it at the height that you want it to. But yeah, so I'm going to put these up wall now, and then we'll put radiator up wall. Just one little thing, these valves here, these air taps, I normally leave these out until after, because I can use the little holes in the top to help me lift the radiator onto the brackets. So we'll have a look at that now. We'll put this up wall now. So to find out how high we want the brackets to be, we can see there we've got, it's roughly about 50 mm. So what we need to do then is the bottom of the bracket plus 50 mm plus whatever distance you want, and then that's where we'll put the bracket on the wall. So another thing I normally do is lay the radiator on the floor near where I want it to be, even it out, and then I'll mark where I want the brackets to be on the wall. So I do it roughly centre there, and I'll just put a mark up wall, and then just same on the other side as well. And then what I'll do is I'll draw a line up there, level, and then we'll make sure we get his brackets nice and level up wall. So now we're just going to mark where we want the bracket to go. So in the instructions it shows bottom up bracket to be 200 mm from floor, which would be about there. So that's 200 mm. But it'll depend on how high you want the radiator to where you have that. Just one thing as well, on these brackets, you've got a small side and then you've got a bigger side. So if you want the radiator to be off the wall, then you could put it that way, so the big side. And all we need to do then is find this line on there so we know it's level. And then we can just mark. Mark all that, drill it, put plugs in. And then what we want to do, roughly mark the other side, but then level the bracket. So we can use the adjustable part then to make sure the bracket's level on the wall. So I've drilled holes now, I'll just put some brown plugs in. Just hammer them in, and then just put your screws and plugs in. So I'd normally use 2-inch screws on this. These ones today are 3-inch, but it's just what I've got just to hand here. So what I normally do as well is I hammer the screw in a bit, and that pushes the plug in the wall, just so you get a better fixing. So I've just set up my laser level here, just so I can mark the bottom of the other bracket, but you could just use a normal level as well. So in the radiator packet you'll find these, and these just go on here, and that just helps to stop noise travelling through the radiator, clicking up metal. So put them on as well. I've lifted the radiator now in place, so it's just ready just to lift on. And as I say, I've left the vent out, and same on the other side, and that'll just help me when I'm going to lift it onto the wall. So when I'm lifting them on the wall, I try and lift it onto the bottom first, and then that'll take all the weight. And then just push it back to the wall and just lift one side up, just lift the other side up, and then it goes up wall then, nice and easy. So now I'm just going to put the caps in and the bleed point. So on this radiator I'm going to put the blank on this side, and then I'm going to put the air vent in that side. It just looks a little bit neater. It doesn't really matter which way you put it. So I'm just going to tighten that one in there. These have an O-ring on them, so you don't really need to put any PTFE or anything like that on them. And then I'll just tighten them up with a spanner in a few minutes. So now we're going to put his tails in for his radiator valves. So I'm just going to fit 2 standard valves on this, because this is going to be like a bypass on heating. So some people put PTFE tape on there, and that's what I've done for many years. I don't use PTFE much now. I tend to use Loctite 577, and there's also Loctite 55, which is a little bit like PTFE that you can use, and that's like a string that you can put, and you could put that round thread. But I tend to just use this 577, and all you do with that, just squeeze. Squeeze it round, put it round thread, and then just screw that in. And they say you can just leave it hand tight. Personally, I'd always tighten them up. You need to leave that a little while before you put water in. Normally 15-20 minutes or so is fine. I'm not sure what manufacturers say, but I've never had a problem with it leaking or all like that. So yeah, that's that. And then I'll just tighten my valves on, and we'll put some fresh pipes down as well now. So just mark this now so we can drill the holes down. So I've cut a couple of pieces of copper pipe, and I'm going to connect them into valves. You could, if you wanted, to put a bit of PTFE on the olive. One thing I'll just say to you, a little pet hate of mine is, when I see people with PTFE over thread, it clearly shows you DIY, because it's not doing very much. So I'll just show you where you would put PTFE if you was going to put some on. So I'll just nip olive up just so it stays in place. So if you were going to put PTFE on, you'd actually put it over the olive, not over the thread. So with this, I've only got this stuff, so I'll just put a bit of this on, but just put a bit of that around there. Not too much. And then on there. And then that then, what you do with that, you see, you put that goes inside. So the seal on this is inside there. So just put that on there. So what I see people do is they put PTFE tape over the top of this thread, and they think that that's going to solve a leak, and it really ain't going to do a very good job, where you want it to be inside, and that's how it's going to seal. So then put a bit of PTFE on there. You don't really need to put any PTFE on, to be honest, but if you want to be belt and braces, you can put a little bit on. As I say, just make sure it's going inside the fitting and not over the top of the thread. If you put it over the top of the thread, it actually makes it harder to tighten the thread on, which sort of like defeats the object really. So we'll put this down now under the floor. So I've put a bit of speed fit pipe onto it now. I've extended this back to the boiler, put a new leg in, so I'm going to change some of this later. So roughly mark where the pipe is on top, maybe just do it a little bit over, and then we can cut that then. Just cut that with speed fit cutters. When we look on this speed fit, there's little indicators, so if you cut it to indicators, then you'll know that it's on when you push your fitting on, which I'll show you in a minute. So now I can see that little mark, that indicator there. I'm just going to cut that on that indicator. Put my insert in, and then just push that on. So you just look on that now and you can see it's right on, it's at line, so you know it's in. I've tightened that nut up, so that means that then is tight and it can't pull back off. So now I'm going to push this on underneath. Just push that on. Try and make sure it's square when you're pushing it in, and then just tighten that up. You'll feel it go on. If your copper is cut nice, it'll slide on nice. So now we're just filling the boiler back up, and then we'll go around and we'll bleed all the radiators. So just going to bleed this radiator now. So that's how you would install or replace a radiator. There's a couple of things I've missed. So under the floor, the pipes, they should be lagged. So if they're in a cold area, then you would lag the pipes. I'm going to be doing lots of stuff in this property, so I'll be doing that later. And the other thing is, we would put an inhibitor in, but again, I've still got the other radiator to do upstairs. So at the moment, I've run out of time today, so I'm not going to put an inhibitor in today. I'm going to do other radiator first, and then I'll put the inhibitor in. So yeah, if you've got any questions, please ask them in the comments below, and thank you for taking the time to watch this rather long video. Thank you.